On Eid occasions, many of my non-Ahmadi friends and relatives ask me, why do we celebrate Eid a day late, according to them?
Or they held their Eid one day earlier. Yes. In fact, the second is the correct position. The ulama, the present day Muslim scholars generally, have no idea, no knowledge of the sciences other than the knowledge of religion, Everything else is outside their domain. So sometimes they take the strict position of watching the moon with their own naked eyes. Recently, this has been their official position for long, but recently they have started to shift their position to scientific observations as well. But not understanding the scientific phenomenon, they make mistakes. The sighting of the moon is possible, as you know already, by naked eye or by calculations, mathematical calculations by the astronomical department. They know exactly when the moon should become visible. So what they can say is not that the moon will be visible. They can only say that if the weather were clear and everything else was all right, then it is possible for anyone to see the moon. So the moon is sightable, not that it would really be visible to human eye. This is the position about their prediction. But there are other complications involved. The moon, when it is above the horizon, is not visible just by the fact that it is above the rim of the earth, because the horizon at that point is lying so close to the angle of the sight and the surface of the earth that the moon rays have to travel all the way along the surface of the earth to the person who is attempting to sight it. And according to the scientists, the air, despite the fact that it appears clear to you, is so heavy in itself that even if there are no particles hanging in it, it would refract and also obstruct the passage of light to a degree that it will not be possible for any human eye to see the moon at a certain angle. So the angle of the moon from the earth also makes a very important factor in its visibility. So according to their calculations, the angle has to be 6 or 7, I don't exactly remember, but perhaps 7 degrees from the point of sighting to the moon. So if you make a triangle from the point where you are trying to observe the moon, and the moon would be the other end, and the earth on that point would make the third point. So from the point you are observing, the angle should be more than 6 or 7 degrees. That is one condition. The second condition is that the moon should be at least 15 minutes above the horizon after the sunset. The third condition is that the age of the moon should be more than 20 hours and perhaps around 21 hours. If these three conditions are met, then the moon does become sightable, whether you are able to observe it or not. So we decide, Ahmadis, according to these conditions. If these conditions are met with, then the moon becomes sightable. Whether we are able to sight it or not, that's then secondary question. So we declare that because moon was sightable, so the Eid or Ramadan would start on the following day. Now they didn't take these things into consideration. So they started Ramadan one day earlier, when it was impossible for human eye to observe the moon. Only they found out from the observatory that the moon was above the rim of the earth, just above the horizon. But if they had asked the scientists themselves would have answered that no, it is above the horizon, but it is not visible. It is not sightable. That is the difference. If you understand it, then you are able to defend your position. If you, I hope you remember this.
But they mentioned that the newspapers, in the newspapers, it's as if, according to the newspapers, the moon will be visible on, the night that.
This is what I'm telling you. The best thing is to refer them to the scientists of the observatory or some astronomers, and tell them to ask them this question. According to their scientific observations, was moon old enough at that time and high enough on the horizon to be physically visible, sightable by human beings or not? The answer will be a positive no. What they said, which they couldn't understand, was that moon was above the horizon after the sunset. So they thought, of course, the moon is visible. It's not visible. They're two different things altogether. A thing can be above the horizon and still not visible. No human being on earth can ever sight such a moon at that age at which this moon was. And we, after having fully investigated the matter, then decided about it. You understand?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.